Originally, I was going to show you guys an existing form and edit an existing form just to break down how the forms are used and what they mean. But what I decided to do is just to create a new form and upload it onto the website. And as I go, I'll be explaining things in pretty decent depth on what it is that I'm doing, what things are, what they're working, just so that from start to finish you guys know what everything means. And obviously you can pause the video and rewind if you've missed something, etc. If you haven't seen the previous video to this, I'd recommend you going to see that, because I do cover just the initial kind of essentials to the form. I explain what the components are, what the properties menu is, and the form manager. So just quicker, if you haven't already, just click over and watch that video, because it is useful and you will understand what I'm talking about in this video a little bit more. But for those of you who have, what we're going to do is go over to our control panel, which is set up here, and then come along to the components menu where the forms are, come down to our RSS Form Pro, and what we're just going to do is just click on Manage Forms. And now we can see a list of all of our forms. So what we're interested in doing is creating a new form. So we're just going to hit that green button there. Now, what will come up now is just a little starting, it's like a little click through wizard that helps you, helps people set up the form in a quick way, but we're not going to do that. I find that doing this, it's just as confusing to do that as to set up the form in the way that I'm going to show you. So what we're going to do is just skip wizard. We don't want to deal with it. And what you can see here is a blank form. Now, if you watched the video before, you'll see that this area was filled with stuff and it looked pretty confusing. What we're going to start doing now is to actually building these. If I switch back over to here and show you an example, we use the numbat. We're actually going to create these forms here. So we're going to create these little text input fields. Anyone can do this. This isn't a hard process. It's just a couple of clicks and we go from there. So coming back, what we need to do is click on a text box. So the difference between a text box and a text area is a text box has just this. What I'll do is I'll show you a better example of one if we have one. Alright, so this little skinny thing is a text box where you'll, in previous forms or any forms that you've seen online, where you type in your name and that's about it. So, and a text area is where you would write a message, so to speak. So, hi, my name is John. I am interested in becoming a docent. So a message, and you can also set how long that message is for, but just not to overcomplicate stuff, we'll leave that for now. So yeah, that's a text field, and this is a text area. So field is the skinny strip, and the area is just more or less a box that you write in. So depending on what the form is, if you come up, and if you've got it open, I recommend that you follow along with me as well, or write down some notes on some dot points on what this is, just so you can actually do this yourself. So coming along to text box, we want to create a text box for our first component on our form, which will be name. So up here, we type name and put a colon. So that's about it. We need to put it into this caption area. And we need to give it a title, the name a title, so underscore, so keep it all, sorry, for the names, keep it all lowercase, so just write name in there. I'll explain to you this later on why we are doing it all in lowercase, but for the titles here we are just using the lowercases, and then the caption, which is name, which will be this area here. So this area is the caption. And that's all we need to do for now. Come across and just go save and close. It'll load up, and willy-nilly we have found our first text field, which is under name, and we can type in there just for, just to preview it. Right, so we're going to do a couple of other ones. We're going to come across and, we're going to put in maybe a phone. So always start with caption first. Phone, colon, and then up here to name, all lowercase, phone. Save and close. And it's come up here. And can do another one. And this is all dependent on the type of form that you're doing. You may only need a couple of forms or a couple of components in this. Alright, so that'll do for now. We're going to come down to text area. And this text area is just going to be, write your message. So just go write your message. Now this could be called anything you want. All the captions can be called whatever you want. You just need to make them make sense, so to speak. And just for name, we're only just going to do try and keep the name in this area just to be one word. So we're just going to write message, save and close, etc. So this may be making some sense to you. And I'm just going to come down and just explain to you about some other things down here. We have a radio group, a checkbox. So a checkbox, if we were to write, say if we wanted in the form extra activities, these are all checkboxes here. So if we write in extra activities, and then just in the form we go activities, and these items here are just the just labeling each checkbox here. So what we're going to do is type in extra activities. I'm not, I'm just pulling stuff from random here. So swimming pool, just to separate them, you just press enter and bring it to the next line. Swimming pool, beach, surf, hockey, and football. So these are going to be whatever your checkboxes are going to be called. Save and close, and you can see that they're there, but they all kind of seem like they're all bunched together. So we're going to change that later on, but just for now we're going to keep it like that. Coming down, the radio group works in the same way, where you'll need to put your items, obviously put a caption, put your items in the same process as the checkered box. What we're going to do, what I need to show you next is quite important. It's this capture anti-spam thing here. So when we click on this, now this is going, this is pretty necessary for your for the website not to be hacked by little robots who search around the computer trying to hack into stuff. And this capture anti-spam just keeps, whoever's using the form, just only allows humans to access and send the form. So as a example, you may see, I don't know if we're using one at the moment, which we should be, but I'm not too sure when you see a form online and you see a little area where it says type in these numbers, or enter in what you see, and a little group of either letters or numbers are displayed and you have to type them in. That is what we're doing here, and that's what's going to keep the robots out. So for here we can just type in anti-spam, and for the caption we're going to write enter what you see, and we don't need to worry about the description. Makes it load. Alright, so basically the caption is enter what you see, and so when people go on the website they will be forced to enter in what they're seeing. So what I see is GDLK, and it's always mandatory because they need to fill that in to send the form, so that the form knows that we are not a robot and that we can actually see those letters. Anyway. So I'm going to leave it like this. But one thing we are missing is a send button. So no one's going to be able to send this. So under the form fields up here, we have something that says submit button. Now, similar layout, we're just going to write in send for name, and the label is what's going to appear inside the button. So submit or send. We're not going to worry about a caption because not many buttons have captions to them. So it's just going to be the button that says submit. And so that's our form. But what you may find is that you want the email address to be above phone, or you want the activities to be up the top. Usually you'd have it in this order, but say that you wanted to move email up the top or above phone. So we come across here to the right hand side where it says ordering, and we have these handy little buttons, arrow buttons that once you press them, they're going to move up and move down. And the same thing applies when we hover over it, and we see this these arrows here. We can actually click and drag. So click, hold, and drag, and we can move it that way as well. But just to not overcomplicate things too much, just use the arrows, but I'm not too sure whether or not you'd be using this at all. So the text box, text area, checkbox, radio group, capture anti-spam, and submit button are pretty much the only things that you guys will be using. Obviously it's dependent on the form, but for that's more or less the generic ways to using it. In the next video I will explain how to attach an email address to this, so that once people send it, it gets sent to a specific email address.